From the Highlands to the coast, we'll bring you the rivalries, the traditions, the legendary coaches, and tomorrow's superstars forging their path to greatness. You're watching CarolinaPreps.com.
Get off up, Laney! Get off up! Hold it! Hold it!
All right, guys, good Monday evening. Chris Hughes coming to you July 28th. It's the first week of practice. CarolinaPreps.com. I am going to be previewing the 8A East tonight. The preview said I was going to have Josh Resignalo on, who helps me out, but he's not going to be here tonight. But coming in off the bench in a pinch, and I got to say in a pinch, is my real good friend Chris Ranier down there in Jacksonville. He knows the landscape of Eastern football really well. Chris, appreciate you coming on.
Man, I love coming in the ninth inning.
There you go. There you go.
Did I get a save?
You're Mario Ana Rivera coming in here in a pinch to bail me out, and I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, I need some intro music. Everything's good, man. It's hot. Actually, it's a lot cooler here. We're down in the 70s right now.
No kidding.
No, we're not.
It's hot up here in the Charlotte metro area today.
Looking forward to Saturday. They're talking high in the 80s. I'm looking forward to it.
Man, no kidding. Hey, before we get really busy with the 8A, and we're going to have Coach Steve Brooks from Laney coming on to join us here momentarily. But you've been helping me out with Carolina Preps for a long time, so I'm no stranger to the work you've done. You've been a great American and a great friend of mine for a long time, but I know we've got a statewide audience. Tell everyone about your radio program and everything you've got going on down there in Onslow County.
Yeah, I believe I started with you back in 1967, didn't I?
It seems like it.
No, we got a radio show. It's called Sports Talk. Legendary coach Phil Paget started it back after he retired the first time. Loved doing it, and of course he passed away of cancer, a few years back, and it sat dormant for a year or so, and then they called me because I had been on it several times with him, getting it up and running and, doing interviews and stuff, and they called me and asked me if I'd be interested in doing it, and once I knew everybody was good with it, I was good with it, and I've been doing it ever since. It's on Friday mornings at 9 a.m. on Freedom 97.1 WSME. You can just Google that station, and it'll pop right up.
Man, that is awesome, and I had Coach Paget on one of these Carolina Preps.
Yeah, I remember that one, yeah.
It was during the COVID year, and the reason I know that's because I had the bald head. I had the COVID haircut. I decided to shave it all off for some crazy reason. And Coach Paget came on, and we talked for like an hour. And man, who knew that he was going to untimely pass away like that?
Yeah.
That was, just a tough blow to the high school football world, and especially to your community as well.
Yeah, and I still wish, 295 wins when he retired. It was just time for him to go. And I think he had some health issues at the time. He wasn't telling people about it. I think that's more why he went, because I always wondered why he wouldn't go for that last 5 to get the 300. But now we know why. And, it was best for him and his family to get away for a while. And he after he got his treatments, he did really well for a while. But you talk about a legendary coach. He's one of those Ray Durham disciples where 3 things can happen on a pass play and 2 of them are bad. He was a run guy.
Man, I've heard that. Well, hey, I'm going to go ahead and bring on another guy that you know really well from Jacksonville. He's already here in the queue, ready to jump on with us, and that is the newly named head coach about a month or 2 ago at Laney High School, Steve Brooks. So, hey, I'm going to bring Coach Brooks on here. Steve, I saw you last week at the Coaches Clinic. Great to have you here on the program, and I'm going to say it publicly for everybody to hear. Congrats on landing the job at Laney. I know that's a big gig, and I think you're going to do good things there.
Hey, I really appreciate it, and can't believe I'm on with 2 legends. Who would have ever thought that?
Well, and you didn't hear the beginning of the show, Coach Brooks, but I was supposed to have another co-host, Coach Josh Resignalo, who helps me out here in the West, and he was going to jump on with me, and he had to bail at the last minute, and thankfully I got Chris Rayner here to join in. But anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about some 8A East high school football. 8A is the top 32 size teams in enrollment in North Carolina. So we're not talking about a lot of teams, and I feel like you're going to be right there in the thick of it. I know you got an unproven team. You're just showing up. You haven't even been to a full practice yet, but I certainly think you guys are in the mix. But just from your landscape there on Gordon Road and Wilmington, how are you seeing things from the Eastern perspective, Coach?
Well, things are finally slowing down a little bit. I don't feel like I'm drowning as much as I kind of was early on. And I only say that because as big a job as this is, most people, you have 4 or 5 months to get prepared and do what you need to do. And I've literally had 4 weeks, but things are great. Wonderful people. I said during my initial press conference, I think I work for the best brand in the country. And that's just due to, what, everybody thinks about Michael Jordan. It's the people in that Laney community have great grit. They have a lot of pride about themselves. They wear their emotions on their sleeve. They're blue collar, hard work people. And, it's been exciting the 4 or 5 weeks that I've been there. I'm excited for Wednesday. I knew that when this came open, it was a great opportunity, and I'm just lucky and blessed to be in it.
Chris, I'm going to let you jump in here because I know you've got a history with Coach Brooks as well, and you and I didn't really go over the outline for the show, so I'm going to kind of let you get in there and get a question or two in because I don't want to steal your thunder, so I'm going to let you roll with it.
Well, first of all, Steve, you noticed the hat I'm wearing, right?
Yeah, I see that. The
only undefeated college football team in Eastern North Carolina.
Absolutely.
UNCW has never lost a football game.
Never will either.
Down your way, buddy. Yeah, I know. Man, I've known you since you grew up as a gym rat hanging around with your dad around the gym. Your dad was, of course, a coach at Southwest and White Oak and other schools in the Onslow County area. So, man, how has it come full circle you to go from watching your dad doing that? And obviously you coached before at CBA, Cock, and offensive coordinator, some other places and stuff. How has it come full circle? What's it like to be what your dad was then, the same line of work?
Honestly, I've been around a lot of great players and a lot of great coaches, just lucky and blessed, as I said before. I still pinch myself. I really, to be completely honest with both of you, I thought I was done. I thought that had made a great run as an assistant. I thought I had a wonderful opportunity at CBA Cock that we just never felt like we could get on the right end of the stick there. I had some wonderful players, had some really good coaches. But we were averaging 6 players a semester in weightlifting at ACOG playing against Rose, Conley, South Central, and New Bern. It was just nearly impossible to play four quarters. But I thought we had something offensively that was really special. And when I had the opportunity to go work for Bo Williams at Jacksonville, it really kind of opened my eyes to how a major high school football program should run and work. And those 3 years were literally like getting a PhD in major high school football. I couldn't ask for a better high school coach to work for than Bo, and then have an opportunity to go back and work for Paul Cornwell last year to finish that thing strong like we started way years ago and win a conference championship and coach my child. It was truly a blessing, and I really think that it was those conversations with guys like Bo and Paul that really kind of told me that, no, I don't think you're done. I think, there's got to be an opportunity to open for you. And they kept telling me that. They kept believing in it more than I did. And when Laney reached out, I said, well, this has got to be it. This has got to be your chance. So just lucky when I got a phone call back that they offered me the job, and I really am working for some wonderful people, but there's a lot of high expectations on our side of town. And, I'm not going to shy away from and being honest that, Hoggard is the team to beat in our area, in our conference. They are, that's who you want to follow and be after. And then, but I think we got a great chance to be in that mix. But to answer your question, just the time I spent around my dad, the conversations we had on Saturday mornings going to college games, him kind of telling me that if this is what you're going to do, these are going to be some things that what's important in a program. And I've tried to carry those conversations with me for a lifetime. And then I've tried to relay that to my kids. I will tell you a funny story. When I got the Laney job, he had knee surgery 3 days later. And, he's not done good with that, but it's been a blessing that I've been able to keep him away from Laney for 4 weeks. So he's chomping at the bit to come to a practice. So I'm sure I'm doing everything wrong by the time he shows up.
Well, his name is Steve too, obviously Steve Senior, and I still call him Coach Brooks. And if I remember him well, Coach Brooks is probably a cranky dude right now.
Yeah, he's not too happy. He wants this rehab and stuff to go a little bit quicker, and wants to be up and moving, and he keeps telling me deer season and dove season's coming. So I feel sorry more for my stepmother than I do for me.
Wow.
Well, he's probably more like a bear in hibernation right now, isn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
One more quick question. How is the Wilmington landscape going to handle air raid? Are we not air raiding anymore?
Oh, we're running triple. That's what we need to tell everybody. No,
you're running single wing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Go find some Princeton film. That's what we're doing.
That's right.
It's like I told our kids today. I think there was, we got really 3 good running backs that I've inherited from Coach Little. And, I think that was their first worry when they heard that is, so we're going to throw it 99 times a game. And I said, no, absolutely not. I said, I still believe in, my dad was an O-line coach. I believe in running the football. It's the way the raid for us has turned into more of how we practice, where it's not a bunch of formations. It's not a bunch of plays. It's running the same few plays and formations over and over and over till they're perfect. And, I said this back in the spring, we were probably more air raid at Jacksonville than Coach Chip and Bo would ever want to admit, only from the fact that we ran very few things, but we ran them over and over and over. And we embraced the boredom, which is the calling card behind the air raid is that you run it so much that it becomes second nature.
Yeah.
But we got some guy. I got a 6'3" quarterback that has a big arm that I'm excited to see what happens when he gets with the live bullets. I've got 3 really good running backs, and I feel like I got an O-line and some skill guys that we can do some special things. But it's not having a 900-page playbook. It's having a couple sheets of paper, doing a few things, and let's go get really, really good at that. The other thing I'll say is Luke Little, I have so much respect for him, and he did so many great things at Laney. I'd be stupid not to try to build on the things that were successful for him and that program, and that's what we're going to try to do too. But an outside screen's just an outside running play to me. So we're going to have fun with it, do some exciting things, sell some popcorn, and hopefully win a lot of ball games.
Awesome.
Well, looking forward to it. Now, give everybody the landscape down there now with the Wilmington schools. You got Ashley, New Hanover, Hoggard, and you. Where did they shake out in the tree? 7A?
I think Hanover and Ashley are 7 with Topsail. I might be wrong on Topsail. Topsail might be 6. Us and Hoggard are 8. And I think North Brunswick is either 6 or 7. I haven't gone back and got too fully engulfed in looking where everybody is. I just, Hoggard's been so daggum good for so long. Hanover with a new coach. The surprise, and I'm sure it's not a surprise to their people, but, Ashley's had this slow climb, and then all of a sudden last year they absolutely exploded and made a heck of a run.
They made a deep run, yeah.
Yeah, so they're not just, the beach kids at Ashley anymore. They're a really good football team that's coached by really good coaches. So, and, the guy that at Topsail that took over for a coach that went to Texas Tech, I mean, he was there and was doing some really good things. So top to bottom, there's depth in coaching, depth in players. It really is probably as close to high school football in the SEC or the Big Ten than that's the high school version is our conference. It's pretty tough.
Well, you may be familiar, you may not be with the aviation community there at Ashley. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about? There's an aviation community right by the high school that has their own airstrip there.
Yeah, the airstrip. Yeah.
So they may be flying in players, man.
Hey, NIL, baby, whatever it
takes. That's
right. Man.
I think Travolta has a house.
He
that's
does.
always been the rumor.
He does. We go by and hang with him on the weekends.
Hey,
Yeah, so he's probably bringing in dudes from all over the place.
Yeah.
And they
who
still got to
knows?
coach them up, and they got some really good coaches at Ashley, and they do a really good job. I'm excited to get over there and see what their Friday nights are like.
Well, Coach Brooks, I'm glad you brought up Luke Little. I don't think he lost, but maybe 2 or 3 JV games in the last several years. So you could tell that he was building the program from the ground up and probably built a really good foundation for you. Granted, I know that there is a lot of talent. You could see that on the team the last 2 or 3 years. And last year they were really hit with some injuries. And I don't think that the 6-5 record was really indicative to how strong a year that they had. But with that being said, I know you haven't had a chance to be at a contact practice yet. You guys will be able to hit, I think it's next Tuesday. But with that being said, how do you feel just about the talent that you've seen coming to your summer workouts? I know you're into the mini camp or whatever you guys are doing, working up to the first practice on Wednesday. But how do you feel about that talent that you guys have, and maybe what your expectations would be again against some of those tough teams? I know we're talking 8A East today, so I know Hoggard's right there in your neighborhood, and that's probably one of the teams you're really concerned about.
Well, so what I like about that, so first of all, our JV team, Luke put in Coach Eanes, and his dad is a legendary coach in the state and has done so many freaking great things that there's a pedigree there, coach's sons, and he's worked his tail off to help make that JV team really, really special. And I've got a really good staff of young guys that they're eager and are excited about football. I think the biggest difference that I can say coming into Laney is, so at ACOC, I might have one really good sized lineman, and then everybody else is just kind of average. Aiden Griffin, the same thing. And then you might have one special skill guy, and then everybody else is just kind of average. The thing that I've noticed about the kids at Laney is, I've got really good size up front, very similar to the size we had at Jacksonville. It kind of reminded me of that kind of type of O-line. And then the skill position kids, we don't have, I wouldn't say a lot of depth yet. That's something that we're going to try to create at camp. But the guys that we run out there first, they're long, they got good speed. They're high quality athletes and they're really smart kids that work hard. The other factor at Laney that I'm excited about having as a head coach, I've done this obviously at Jacksonville. We play guys on one side of the ball. But at Laney, we're going to have be able to do that, be able to play 22 some guys on defense, 22 some, guys on offense, and just be able to have an offensive practice every single day to try to go get prepared and ready. And sometimes, as a coach, it goes back to the philosophy of not adding, just continue to embrace the boredom. But I've probably have more kids across the board with this group than I've had at, other than being at Jacksonville. So that's going to be something that's going to be fun to play with, fun to tinker with, but just making sure that, we're creating fundamentally great, tough football players.
All right. Hey, one thing that I noticed that I'm not sure if it was Coach Little, if it was your athletic director. Is Coach Lynch still there?
Coach Lynch is still there.
I was assuming he was still the AD. But the schedule that you inherited, it gets you off to quite a start. You're on the road to start the season at Conley, then you come back home and have to face Garner before going on the road to face J.H. Rose. That's a heck of a 3-game setup to start your career there at Laney.
Yeah, I'm not letting whoever made the schedule ever again. That's it's absolutely nuts. But what I found out is, when you're 8A or whatever, it's hard to get any kind of game scheduled. So unless you want to literally go to Myrtle Beach, and I don't know that that's the route we need to go. But and then everybody else that our size is in our conference, so we're not going to double dip on that. It's tough once as it is. You can't ask for a tougher schedule. I mean, you think about the 3 coaches. In those first 3 games, they've won a ton of games. They've won conference championships. They've won playoff games. And they've all been with their team for quite a bit of time now. The 4th game is South Central, and that's no easy task either. I know the type of athletes that are at South Central High School. being there in Pitt County. And the only advantage there is that's a new staff like ours. So it's kind of seeing, who's going to gel quicker. But yeah, between what we already face in conference and then the non-conference, that's a heck of a way to start. You find a way to win any of those ball games, you've really done something as a program on Friday night for sure.
And with those miles you're traveling, man, up to Raleigh and then up to Greenville a couple times, some frequent bus miles, isn't it?
Yeah, it's and then trying to get back to Greenville to see my little one play 8th grade. It's I'm gonna have mileage on buses, on my car, my body, but the view of the waterway behind me here, it makes everything better. So
that sounds like the life I'm living, crisscrossing around the state of North Carolina.
I need a helicopter.
So I know exactly what you mean. Hey, one thing, again, by the way, guys, we've got a lot of guys that's just joined us here. So appreciate y'all joining us live inside the Headset Carolina Preps tonight. If you're just joining us, you got Chris Ranier right there in the middle. Thank you again for coming on in the pinch to jump on and talk some football, and Coach Steve Brooks there, head football coach at Laney. Guys, if you do want to leave a comment, you are able to do so down below, whether you're watching live on Facebook or YouTube. And if you leave a comment, we'll be able to flash it up on the stage for Coach Brooks. And I would throw it out there, depending on who the guest was, if a fan wanted to get on and say a comment or two as well, I might be willing to send you the link for that too. But, that might have to be a special case. We'll see about that one. But Coach Brooks, since we are talking about 8A football in the landscape of 8A East, to be more specific, we're going to have the head football coach, Ranier Rackley at Rolesville here in a little bit. You've got Millbrook up there in Raleigh, Coach Lamar Marshall. He's top tier. Jordan, although I'm not sure, I think Jordan may end up in the West, depending on how the state's set up. Obviously, Hoggard right there in your backyard. You got Pinecrest, Coach Nick Edens. That's a top program. Leesville Road, Apex Friendships, a team that I think is going to make some noise in the East. I know that you're really focused on your team right now at Laney, but does your mind ever wonder and just think about the teams that you could potentially face in the playoffs?
I think as the season goes on, I'll have a little bit more of a chance to really think about who and where and, the road we would have to take. I honestly have not had a chance to even think about that part of it just because I've been trying to get caught up and get so many things done. I'll be honest, I looked at the West just to see, who flows through this thing. And then when you see schools like Huff and Myers Park and things like that, you go, well, if you can make it out of the East and you played quality talent, then it'll give you a chance. But I just think the whole 8A is, from what I've had a chance to look at, is absolutely loaded. And it's loaded with really legendary coaches in our state. So if you win one, no matter what level you're at, you win one, you've done something. If you win one in 8A, you've really done something in our state. It's incredible. I really, truly believe that is why you see every major football conference come to our state to recruit our players. There's just so many good coaches and players that have been coached by good coaches in our state that everybody comes in and tries to steal them. And, you see them playing in the Big 10, the Big 12, the SEC, and then obviously in the ACC if they decide to stay at home. But 8A is absolutely loaded, and you better bring your big boy shoes every Friday night playing that type of deal.
I totally agree. And Chris, any questions for you before we let Coach Brooks away? I know we'll have Coach Rackley join us here at the bottom of the hour. Any final thoughts from you with Coach Steve Brooks?
I do have one burning question, and maybe we'll dispel some rumors and some myths and legends down there. Of course, you're at Laney, and of course, we know who the most famous alumni is. You touched on it earlier. Do you guys ever have to sweat it for jerseys? I mean, you don't have to start looking through the Under Armour catalog or the Adidas catalog. You pretty much know which brand you're going to be shopping for jerseys, don't you?
As long as I'm the head coach, we're going to be having a swoosh or a jump man on for sure.
I would figure so.
Even if I got to beg my principal and Coach Lynch to keep that connection, which I don't think I will have to, but if I have to, I will. It's pretty special. I don't know many places like that.
I can only imagine. And we've had you on the show before, Sports Talk before when at CBA Cock and before when you were at Jacksonville. So the only favor I ask in return, if the man ever comes down there to hang out with you guys a little while, just call me and let me come do an interview with, you. And I don't want to do an interview with him. I just want to do an interview with you at the same time.
Well, I would be remiss if I said that I absolutely want to meet him, but I think my 13-year-old would push me off a cliff to get close to MJ. And
I can imagine.
Just have some the two of them sitting and talking trash back and forth to each other about golf games and who's a better athlete would that would be a comedy show on its own. That was one of the first questions. He asked me two questions when I told him that possibility of going to Laney. He said, "So how many pair of J's are you going to get?" And then the second question was, "Are you going to get to meet Michael?" And I said, "Well, I don't know about the shoes." And I said, who knows about meeting him? He goes, "Well, I want a pair of shoes, and if you get to meet him, I'm hanging out with him." So,
yeah,
one more suggestion before we let you go, or before I go. Wells Gullidge, of course, is the basketball coach there at Ashley. You might want to get with the Wells and see if he's got any hookups for that aviation community. That'll get you back and forth to Greenville quicker for your games, things like that.
Yeah,
not for the team, of course, but for you having to go for your son's games.
Yeah, maybe he'll help me out. That would be great.
Man. All right. Great talking with you, Coach.
You too. Keep everybody in Jacksonville healthy and safe for me. And tell everybody in Onslow County, I love them and miss them. And I hope everything goes well down there in your community. Chris, I also know y'all obviously had a terrible tragedy with with Kendrick and the other young man that got hurt and passed away. Please, from the Laney community, from obviously the Brooks family and whatnot, please give all our love and support to those people. I know they're going through a terrible time, and I saw Tyrone. Obviously, he's been keeping everybody updated on Kendrick, and then obviously the family that lost the young man. That you never want that to happen to anybody, and just know that the football community is definitely has those people in our prayers and thoughts. And obviously being from Onslow County and having connections to Southwest with my dad, we obviously have some thoughts and prayers for that community even more. So please give them our best.
Tough loss, man.
Yeah,
we appreciate your prayers and your concerns about that too. We really do.
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, Coach Brooks, again, thanks for coming on tonight. I've been trying to get down there to Wilmington and just trying to figure out a way to get an interview with you since the day you was hired. So great to finally have you on here, and look forward to seeing your team throughout the year. And I mentioned I got a kid that's going to be coming down there to UNC Wilmington here in a few weeks. So I'm sure that my paths with yours will cross a few times here this fall. So I look forward to seeing you soon.
You come on and do it. We'll find you a Jumpman t-shirt, and obviously always appreciate everything you do for high school athletics and having me on, and doors always open at our place. And just thank you very much, and go Bucks.
All right, Coach, thank you. Appreciate you. We'll catch you throughout the course of the year. Again, everybody, that is Coach Steve Brooks, head coach at Laney High School, kind enough to come on and join us tonight talking about the 8A East. Again, I'm Chris Hughes, joined by my man Chris Ranier. And Coach, or Chris, Wednesday, I'm going to be putting out the first official preseason Carolina Preps power rankings for all the classes. I know some of the other outlets out there have put a few rankings out there as well, but I probably put about 6 months worth of work into these things since February, just making sure that they're fine-tuned and looking good for this Wednesday. So I'm excited to get them out there. But, you mentioned the temperatures, and, it's cranking up. It's definitely a football season, and official practice starting Wednesday. You can just feel the buzz around the state kind of amping up, Chris.
Oh, yeah, man. That wet bulb is dripping right now, buddy. I'm sure everybody's going to try and go in the morning this week because of the fact in the afternoon, I don't think you can get it in until about Friday. That looks like when the weather's going to break a little bit. And I just want to give a plug to you, man, for Carolina Preps. I've been a fan of your website before I even worked for you. Just the research you do and the time you spend on things to get everything right in every corner of the state. I mean, everybody knows about the big things you see on, the bigger teams and stuff like that. But, man, you make it to the Northeast and you do your research there, the Southeast. A lot of the smaller schools in the East really don't get the coverage and stuff, but man, you do everything. And if anybody doubts that, all they need to do is go look at the helmet project and the stadium project.
Yeah.
And the fact that all that's on there, except for, of course, the Federal Installation Lejeune. You know, they're an enigma. They're in their own little world. I mean, you're only gonna get so many pictures on that base, you know. But everywhere else, man, the coverage you do, people can look on that and they can be at the stadium before they ever get to the game.
True. And, you know, being retired from the Army, I do have the blue ID card, and I have gotten on the post at Lejeune to try to get in there, but I still couldn't get into the stadium. You know, they had that thing locked up like it was on a Marine Corps base. And
yeah, like you were Al-Qaeda or something.
Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna get some really nice photos there, even if I have to go to a game and do them at the game itself. So who knows? But yeah, you know, I've enjoyed crisscrossing the state of North Carolina for really going on about 20, 25 years now. You know, as a coach, and then, you know, doing so at Carolina Prep since 2007. So it's been my pleasure. But hey, Coach, we've got our next head coach at Rolesville High School. I see he's logged in to the show. I'm gonna let him get situated, and hopefully we can get him on here in just a second to kind of get the pulse of the Rolesville Rams, because there's been no hotter team in Eastern North Carolina in the 4A last year, and now the 8A landscape than Coach Rackley's team. I want to see if I can get him pulled up. It don't look like he's got his camera on, but we want to. There he is. I see him coming on now. So let's go ahead and get Coach Rackley. Coach, appreciate you joining me tonight. I got my man Chris Ranier in the middle, kind of helping me type some things here in Eastern North Carolina. But Coach Rackley, Rolesville High School, you're at team camp right now. But I appreciate you taking time to talk with us tonight.
Yes, sir. Glad to be on, man. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me clear. There's a little lag on my end, but I'm glad to be on. Thank you so much, Chris.
I do have you a little bit of a lag as well, but, you know, that's all good. And we can keep you pretty quick if you need to get back to the team. I understand you with the guys, and again, I appreciate your time.
Do your thing, man. It's okay.
Well, hey, I want to jump right into it. You know, I feel like expectations are high for your team, and, you know, what I've seen from your body of work since you took over the program a couple years ago has been nothing short of spectacular. And that's not just through the scores I see and what I see of you guys on film and the talent you guys have. You know, in my tour across the state during the spring, talking to coaches that you have played against, and you know, getting their thoughts of how hard it is to scheme schematically against you, because a lot of the different concepts and things you throw out there, they talk about just how tough it is to play you guys. So I just want to give those kudos to you right off the bat.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
With that said, I'm going to come out with my preseason rankings Wednesday. Obviously, the landscape of the 8A East is pretty tough. You know, obviously we've got Millbrook right down the street who's in your own conference. We've got Jordan, you know, assuming that they go east, they could go west. Hager down there in Wilmington. I know that as a coach, you probably only want to go 1 week at a time, but how hard is it not to think about some of those teams and some of those teams that you possibly have to face later on in the year?
I mean, you know, having the opportunity to get to the state championship last year, of course, that itch is still there, right? But the biggest thing for me is just, like you said, not trying to, you know, jump the gun and go from 1 week to the last week. But, man, it's definitely an exciting time in AA football, knowing that we have a great opportunity to get our guys better and to make a run. But I'm excited to see how this season kick off, for sure.
One thing I wanted to bring up is just the fact of your schedule, and you may have one of the toughest schedules in the history of the state. I'll throw Mallard Creek in there as well, but heck, you guys go head to head week one. You are not shying away from competition. You've got Providence Day, you've got Richmond County, Corinth Holders, and then obviously getting into the conference with Millbrook right there.
Yes,
tell me the benefits in scheduling such a tough schedule right out the gate. You know, it's possible you could take a loss here and there, but nonetheless, I think that would make you guys more tested for the season.
Man, I love being battle tested early on, man. When I took over the job a couple years ago, this going into my third year now, I was proposed with the opportunity to say if I want to get out of the non-conference schedule that we had against the Grimsley of the world, Butlers, and the Cardinal Gibbons. And I was like, no, let's do it, you know. And I think playing hard teams earlier before you get into conference play kind of prepare you and kind of set the tone of your season to kind of see where you at. And then obviously get a chance to play those guys later in the year in the playoffs and things like that. For us, you know, playing against a team like Mallard Creek, which is also here at team camp, crazy enough, it gives us an opportunity to see how that look coming from the west side of things, because, you know, Charlotte always play good ball, you know, and I tell my guys and my coaches all the time, if we go play the best, if we go want to try to be the best, we'll play the best. And I feel like some of the best football do come from the west side of the state. So for me, I'm never shunning away against talent. I mean, opportunities to play against good teams. and we got a chance to do it, we go do it, man. But yeah, like you said, Mallet Creek week 1, Providence Day week 2, a good Richmond team played in the playoffs last year. They very, very hungry, and man, we just go see how it all goes. Only having 3 non-conference games kind of set us up for the conference play with 7 games, but I think we'll be battle tested early for sure.
Coach Ranier, you got any questions for Coach Rackley?
I do, Coach. Looking over your career there at Rolesville so far, 26 wins, and a lot of people that don't know, what's going on up there, they're like, let's see, he's been coaching about 4 years, maybe. 26 wins in 2 seasons, man. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. Again, it go back to, one thing I got to take my hat off to the guys that was before me at Rolesville. We always had a good tradition, and the thing is if these kids understand the buy-in here and what we can do, man, this program continue to be great, man. And I'm just blessed and thankful to be an opportunity that I can keep coaching these guys up the best way I possibly can. And the record speaks for itself, but at the same time, I don't really get caught up on that. I don't get caught up on the personal accolades. I get more so caught up on, the guys we putting in college, what runs we making in the playoffs, things like that, so we continue to keep moving the needle, man. But I appreciate the accolade, man. I appreciate you acknowledging that for me.
Well, 13 wins in 2 seasons as a team from the team concept is impressive, what your team's done. And also, you guys knocked at the door in 2020 and last year. It's time to kick that door in, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the expectation now, isn't it?
I mean, and one thing when I came over here in 2019, 2020, people don't realize or remember, I was with Leesville Road in 2019, the year we went to the state championship, played against that Chambers team. And right before COVID hit, I came over here to Roseville, and I told some of the coaches at that time, I said, man, I'm hungry now. I'm desperate. I want to get back to that place. And, being there 3 times in 5 years, man, it's kind of unreal, but, I'm just blessed again. My second year, I never thought I'd be in this position, one, to have a great team and have a great group of young men like the way I have at Roseville, a good support staff, and my coaches and my admin, man, we just keep doing what we can. A lot of people don't see the outside stuff. They just kind of see us winning games and playing on Friday nights, but they don't really see what we do between the lines on Monday through Thursdays, man, or even at home. So our boys go through some perseverance. They've been through some really, really persevering times, man, and that's how the results really start coming, because we just know how to keep working through those tough times, man.
Well, keep working hard, man. Your fans, that's the expectation now is, to make those deep playoff runs and the championship appearances. And your fans, they're loving it up there. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you.
Hey, Coach Rackley, I know you're at team camp. You told me that on the phone earlier. I can see the stadium kind of behind you. Kind of give us an update of where you guys are working out at.
Oh, man, we at UNC Pembroke, man. This is our first day. The weather kind of got ahead of us earlier, man. We didn't get a chance to get our second practice, really our first practice of the day. So our second practice would have been our second practice now. But, man, I love what Coach Hall do down here, man. That's why I tell him he'll see me every year down here at UNC Pembroke during the team camp, man, because it's some good competition to come out. And, again, it's a good team bonding activity, too, for the boys, to get somewhere else and go see something different and just get out there, man. So I love it.
And one thing's for sure, being down there in Robinson County at UNC Pembroke, and at this time of year with all the heat warnings and stuff, you guys are going to be certainly conditioned for the heat going on into the season.
Oh my God! They had to cancel the heat. It was early. They had to call practice. It was 102. The field was 102, man. So it was like, oh my God, we ain't gonna get a chance to get out. But thankful that we had a chance to get out when it hit under 92, man. So we get out here and do what we could and get the work in.
Man, well, Coach Rackley, I appreciate you taking some time out of your evening with the team to talk football with me and to just kind of talk a little bit of 8A East football. My plan is to try to get to the Raleigh area here in the next couple of weeks. So I would love to swing by and visit you and see your team up close and in person.
Absolutely, man. You always welcome over here, Chris, man. Anything I need on my end, anything you need on my end from you, man, let me know.
All right, Coach. Hey, I appreciate you. I'm going to let you get out of here. I know we're kind of having some technical difficulties, and that's all good. But, again, thanks, and good luck this year.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all having
me. Good luck,
on.
Coach.
All right, thank y'all.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Coach. All right, man. Hey, Chris, you're right about one thing. They've been knocking on that door, ready to kill it in when it comes to compete for a championship, and it's great to get him here to start the season, just to kind of get the vibe of the 8A in the eastern part of the state, because they certainly are top of the line in eastern North Carolina. I know Millbrook's kind of trying to knock in the door and compete with them, and I think that Coach Lamar Marshall and that team at Millbrook are really close. But I think, looking at that conference and kind of previewing some of the teams in the playoffs this year in the 8A, it's going to be some great games.
Oh, yeah, man. And that's the thing. They're so spread out because instead of being 64 teams like every other class, except 1A, of course, they'll all be, scrounging for those non-conference games. The same issue that Coach Brooks was talking about. They're going to be on the road a little bit,
Absolutely. Hey, we did get a comment. I appreciate everybody that has tuned in to watch us live. I know our numbers will probably be much higher, as people watch it later down the road on YouTube and stuff like that. But we had a Terry Grayson who said, "Hi, Chris. Great show so far. Army ? My son is in 3 weeks of OSU, which is one station unit training at Fort Benning." I know exactly what that is because I started my military career 30 years ago from, I think, Wednesday is when I enlisted in the Army way back in 1995 at Fort Benning, Georgia. Learned how to do all the infantry training and, of course, jump out of airplanes and everything there. So, Ms. Grayson, thank you for leaving the comment, and we appreciate you watching us. And congratulations to everything your son's going to do. So, thank you for that. Chris, I know you live right outside the gates of the military base, so, you live in and around the military every day.
Yeah, Camp Lejeune, New River Air Station here on the Marine Corps, and we're proud of that in our community. We love our troops here, man. We love our troops at Bragg too. We're just North Carolina is a military state, and it always has been.
It really is, and I've always tried to cater to the military people with a lot of stuff we do because being in the military and having been deployed. And still trying to follow a high school football season, that was very important to me to be able to keep up with stuff back home. I think it gives them that connection, whether you're stationed in another part of the United States or overseas or deployed, they want to get that taste of back home. And, I've always tried to give it to them through Carolina Preps because, being a retiree, it's always been important to me. So good deal. Well, hey, for some housekeeping notes, Wednesday, and it'd probably be more like tomorrow night at midnight, but Wednesday we will be giving out officially releasing the 2025 preseason rankings. I will do a teaser here though. If you will go on and sign up and become an Inside the Headset member here at Carolina Preps, I will release them, probably give you some sneak peek and maybe put them out there tomorrow to give you a day or two heads up and probably put some video accompanying it to explain who's ranked where. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. But this is always a fun time. I know this, Chris, but I don't put days or weeks or hours. I put like months into these preseason rankings.
Oh yeah, man.
It's always.
And I like the way you're doing the pre-sale there. That's what we call it in the concert world. The pre-sale where the folks that or sign up and everything, get everything ahead of time, and that's the way to do it. And with the influx of the internet over the years, back when we played in the 80s, or when I played in the 80s, I'm a lot older than you. Back when we played back then, or I played, people had to wait for a newspaper or the next day. There was no internet that was streaming it around the world.
Yeah.
And now like you talked about, our troops, they can have kids playing and they be overseas and they can still keep up with everything, and that's what makes your website so great. Well,
I appreciate you saying that. And I am going to give guys just since we're talking about the premium package here, we do have the premium package here at Carolina Preps now, Inside the Headset. I think it's very affordable, $7.99 a month. Let me just kind of give our viewers. There we go. So here's an important thing that everybody likes to look at Carolina Preps. Obviously, I know you're a Southwest Onslow guy, so I want to kind of do this one just to kind of show you, if this is what the Inside the Headset premium members get. So if you go to the all-time records, you can see all the scores of a school dating back to the beginning of the time. I've got most of them in the state well into the 1950s now. Let's just say, and we were talking about Coach Pageant earlier. You scroll here to the beginning of the page. You've got Coach Pageant. Click on there. Let's say you want to see your coach against an all-time coach. Click on Coach versus all-time coach. You can see listed right here. Coach Pageant played Brian Aldridge 13 times. He won 7, lost 6. Click on the summary right there, and it will give you the head-to-head matchup between the coaches and give you the score of every game. Kind of take it one step further. Coach versus all-time opponent. You can see how many times Coach Pageant played. Richlands, 27-1. White Oak, 19-8. Maybe your school, you want to see the same thing with the school. Go to all-time records. You can see the school versus Richlands, 39-10-1. Click on the summary, and it will also give you the same little heads-up display right there. Give you the coach against who, the score, so on and so forth. Some other cool facts that we got right here. If you click on the advanced statistics with your school, you can see the longest winning streak, current winning streak. Southwest longest winning streak they've ever had was 19 games. Longest losing streak, scoring streak, active scoring streak. So at one time they won 91. They had 91 straight games where they scored, and then double figures. At one time they scored at least 10 or more points in 75 games. And then, of course, you want to see the current streaks inside the state of North Carolina. You want to see like the all-time winning streaks or current winning streaks. Like right now, if you click on current winning streaks on the website, it will bring that up. Right now, Grimsley High School, 16-game streak. Monroe, 15. Tarboro, 10. Also, by the way, if you're a South Carolina fan, we've got the same thing built in for South Carolina, so you can go there and see the same deal. But I think that is, what the high school football fans really love is that information. And, I feel like I do as good a job as I can to try to give that to them, Coach.
And used to it didn't cross-reference like that. They have that where it would bring up all the interesting little codicils there, the little stats and stuff. Now, can you go back to the Southwest page again? I want to show them another thing, too, that I really love that I thought was so cool. And you've had this on there for a while, but are you back on the Southwest page now? Can't see it. When you get there, let me know, and I'll show you what to look for.
Oh, man.
But you know about it, but I want them to see it.
I took myself out. Sorry about that.
Oh, did you? Well, what it is, when you go to that all-time record, like the different seasons for each team, you can go to like the 2003 Southwest team that was undefeated, beat Burlington Cummings in the finals that year. The greatest show on turf, they called him back then. Bo Williamson with the quarterback and everything. So go to that 2003 season if you can. And you'll click on that for Southwest. And what you can do, see the teams that it shows that they played. You can go click on Burlington Cummings right there, and it'll pull up Burlington Cummings 2003 season.
Yes.
Right. It'll go straight to that season, so you can see how that team did against. You don't have to go through and find Burlington Cummings and then go to their 2003 season. It's just right there where it goes straight to that season that you're already looking at. So you can look at all those teams that they played that year and see how they did right there. It cross-references everything.
Absolutely. And some other things that we've got in there just to throw them in there. You want to see the all-time coaching records in North Carolina. You can see David Gentry right there, 413 wins. Jack Holly, 398. Or if you just click over here to the active coaches, and you'll see the current coaches in the state of North Carolina who's coaching. So, there is a ton of great info in here that I've been working a lifetime to build gives the average high school football fan a lot of cool info. Whether you want to talk about it with your guys at the water cooler at work or sitting on the bleachers on a Friday night and, bringing that stuff up. This is just stuff that's enthused and intrigued me for a lifetime. And, I've worked really 25 years on perfecting this website. And, it's just my pleasure to bring it to the people of North Carolina.
And the amount of work it takes to load, like a school like Southwest that only goes back to 1977 or 76, the entire history of the school is on there. I don't know if it goes back that far for every school. That may go back to the dark ages, but you've got certainly the modern era. You've got everything on there.
Yeah, everything from about the mid-50s up. And during the off season, I spend time on newspaper.com and different newspaper archives, always trying to find even more. I've got to always give a tip of the cap to a good friend of mine, a gentleman by the name of Jim West, who has helped me with Carolina Preps in the past, and I still do some corresponding with him with Charlotte Observer and some different things like that. Jim is really one of the main ones that helped make this happen, and I got to give a lot of the credit to him. And, he's just been a phenomenal person for trying to find that info. So Jim certainly gets a lot, and I mean a lot of the credit for helping find this stuff. But, it's just great. And it's just been a lot of fun over the course of my life to really bring all this info out there to people.
And you basically got it at the click of a mouse. Used to in the old days, somebody'd have to go to the public library and dig the microfiche out. People don't even know what that is nowadays. No. But back in the old days, you had to do that to see those results and things, and you just got it at the click of a button now.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, anyway, Chris, hey, we're pushing up on the 9 o'clock hour. I told you I'd have you out of here quick. I appreciate you once again for coming on in a pinch and kind of talking some football with me and helping co-host the show. I had Josh Resignalo, who has come on board to help me out here with Carolina Preps, who was going to join us. He's doing vacation with the family, and I'm glad he's enjoying that before we really ramp it up here next week. But, Chris, I appreciate you, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, with 5 minutes notice, I hope I made a little bit of sense.
Man, you did a great job, and certainly, the timing with your history with Coach Steve Brooks at Laney, that certainly helped as well. So, buddy, I appreciate it.
Well, when you get ready to come down here and go to Wrightsville Beach area, and we'll visit with Coach, and let me know when you come, and we'll go down there and hang out with him a while.
All right, buddy. Sounds good.
Well, take care, brother.
I'm going to call it. Appreciate you again, and everybody, for Chris Ranier and everybody on my Carolina Preps team. We'll catch you next week, or we're actually going to catch you again tomorrow night. I'm going to do the 8A West, but appreciate y'all, and we'll catch you tomorrow night.
All right, take care.
From the Highlands to the coast, we'll bring you the rivalries, the traditions, the legendary coaches, and tomorrow's superstars forging their path to greatness. You're watching CarolinaPreps.com.
Get off my line.